page 48, Unit 9, Big Clocks in the House. Here the students are learning a new note. They already know guide note bass F. They go up a step, and here we have G in the bass clef. So, some really good practice steps. Which finger in your left hand plays the G's? Finger 3. So we are far from a good C position. We're even in a better, almost middle C position. Much more comfortable. So the thumb is on the B, the third finger is on the G, and the thumb in the right hand is on the C. So we're in 3/4 time. We ask the students to put a square around the dotted half notes, circle the repeated notes, and tap and count out loud. Then they're ready to actually play the piece. It's a good idea for the students to clap and count, tap and count. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Have them do that until they're really comfortable. Lots of teachers ask me, oh my goodness, my students really don't have a good sense of fluid counting. And it's probably because we start to have them sight read the pieces too soon. Let's really make sure the student understands how to internalize the rhythm, how to count those beats just backwards and forwards, so it's really easy for them. And then they won't get mixed up between finger numbers and counting. All right, so here, I have to tell you the words to that song. Grandfather clock begins to chime. It never fails to tell the time. Grandmother clocks across the way. Softly she gongs throughout the day. I wrote that one. All right, focus on G-A-B. Here Mozart is back. He says point to each note and count out loud. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When the student is really good at that, then have them point and say the words. Deep in the forest on a clear night. Trace the notes with a line, just how they have started in the music, so they can see the repeated notes and whether the notes go up or down. And then they're ready to play. Lift your hand off the keys, wrist first. All right, on page 50, a technical exercise with Franz Joseph Haydn, strong fingers and flexible wrist. So we want our students to think about that drip, drop, roll motion when they play Bunny's Hop. We want the students to think that there is a spring in their wrist, right? So the wrist really does act like a spring. We don't want to say loose, right? And don't say relaxed either, because relaxed is like being a jellyfish at the keyboard. But if we say flexible wrist, they're going to get the right amount of release. The other thing that's really good to do with a student is have them take a pencil, and this is what you can do. Have the student tap the tip of the pencil like this, and they're going to notice that they actually are supposed to be moving from this joint, which is called the metacarpal joint, right up here. You notice that they should not be moving from this joint or this joint. They really should be having all this finger motion from the metacarpal joints. So we want to tell our students to play on the pad of your fingers, play on the rounded pad of your fingers, and let's try not to say curve your fingers, because if they're curving their fingers and playing on their fingertips, then they are only playing from that knuckle and not from the metacarpal joint as they're supposed to. Does that make sense? So if you say curve your fingers, it overly curves the joints. Play on your fingertips, then they're playing from this knuckle here and not these knuckles. So really important to remind ourselves that when we're teaching excellent, healthy, and natural technique. So that's that lovely little exercise. Brave Sioux Warrior is by Kevin Olson. Here the students are learning the A. So we're continuing up from bass F to G to A. All right, so here we go. middle C position, you notice. Well, actually, no, it is, because the thumb of the right hand is on middle C, but the thumb of the left hand is on B, because we ask for the students to play their second finger on this new note of A. All right, we're ready for Unit 10.